Welcome to an evening with Anne Galloway.
Yeah.
And friends.
And friends.
So I am one of your hosts, Sue Minter.
And I am one of your hosts, Neil Lunderville. And tonight, we are so excited to be with you to celebrate independent, nonprofit news, applaud Vermont Digger, and of course, honor Anne. Yeah.
So tonight, we're going to do a lot of things, and we're going to begin, you're going to be hearing from the luminaries of journalism, talking about the importance of media, of the importance of journalism in our democracy, and the incredible role and success of VT Digger. Just to give you a heads up, we're going to have a bit of a program before dinner, then we will break for dinner, and after dinner, you're going to see the star of the show.
Yeah, well, so we were thinking if we went around this room one by one, we could easily compile thousands of Anne stories. Now, not stories written by Anne, that'd probably be in the tens of thousands if we really numbered it up, but stories about Anne, about her vision, about her tenacity, and about her courage. So before we get into the program tonight, Sue and I were thinking we might share one of our quick Anne stories that goes all the way back to the humble beginnings of Vermont Digger. So as we looked at the program tonight, it's in front of you on your chairs, Sue and I realized that we're among the only speakers who have been on the, shall we say, pointy end of Anne's pen. And we've gotten some column inches in Vermont Digger over the years as on-again, off-again public officials. Now, we were thinking back to a time in 2009 when Anne first ventured into the State House as Vermont Digger's sole reporter. I mean, she was the only employee at the time, of course. And Sue and I were actually opposite each other in a great annual tradition at the State House known as the State Budget. In 2009, it was the deepest part of the Great Recession. And my boss, Governor Jim Douglas, was in a battle royale with the legislature. Is that right?
Yes, I know that pretty well, Neil. In fact, it's kind of fun to be on the stage with you because our careers have careened and come together in interesting ways over the years. But that was a momentous year for me. As a member of the House Appropriations Committee, the Speaker of the House was right over there. Thank you, Sap Smith, for that appointment in the middle of the Great Recession. But something unusual happened, and it wasn't just the financial crisis, and it wasn't the crazy ideas coming from the administration. But usually at that time, the rooms of the State House were really mainly for the members. And at this time, usually the media would come particularly to the House Appropriations when the bigwigs, like Neil Lunderville, presented the budget. And then they'd go away. But this year, one solo operator came in. And she was humble, and she was usually sloppily dressed, and we were all in our best. And she looked like she had driven far away, but she had a camera, and she did not leave. Day after day, those of us in the room who were much more used to having more informal conversations off the record, were never off the record. We were held to account, and we were visually being videoed and audioed for the first time. And I will say that that was transformational. And that was the roots of this incredible story of Anne Galloway.
Yeah, and I got to say, Sue, it was the exact same for me. I can remember this meeting, this very long interview with Anne. I mean, there was like 90 minutes, 2 hours in the governor's ceremonial office, and Anne just probed and prodded at the budget. I mean, why this and why not that? What's the JTOC transfer? How does the Pay Act work? I mean, one after the other, and I realized she knew more about the budget than I did. And that was my job to know about the budget. But when she asked these questions, and if you've been on the pointy end, you know this, she is feverishly scribbling notes in this notebook. There's about 12 words per page. It is absolutely indecipherable to anybody outside the CIA. And even then, they could take a few lessons from her. But she probably filled 2 or 3 books just with that one session alone. And we kept going. And in these conversations, and there were a lot of conversations that we had with Anne that first year in 2009, a portrait of Anne emerged. Very smart, obviously, very dogged, to the point of bother for public officials. But that is the point. Democracy does not work without sunlight. But she was also very fair. And she never put her finger on the scale. Anne's integrity shone through with every word of her early stories. She could not be easily dismissed. We saw then what we all know now. From Anne's singular vision and extraordinary tenacity, V.T. Digger was born. And it grew to what it is today, Vermont's largest newsroom and the paper of record for our state. Through this, Anne pioneered a whole new category of journalism, independent, nonprofit news. She showed how reader-supported local news can thrive while corporate news withered. She lit a beacon for others to follow, and we've been inspired by it ever since. So thank you, Anne.
So the amazing organization that Anne started, VT Digger, is a part of the Vermont Journalism Trust. And at the helm of the board, we've been fortunate to have strong leaders who supported local journalists, helping Anne really give life to this grand idea. And I want to recognize some key leaders of this grand history. Bill Schubart, please stand up. Curtis Corin, are you here? Please stand, Curtis. Curtis, stand up. And the current chair, John Riley.
Where's John?
Where's John? John, we want to welcome you to the stage. Okay. So we want to welcome John. He is the current board chair, someone with his own journalist beginnings, working on that small newspaper that used to be locally owned, currently known as the Burlington Free Press. We thank him for his leadership, and we welcome him right now.